Hey, this is CANDIA RAQUEL, founder of Centro de Poder, and you are at the Sensual Sessions podcast. There's a gift waiting for you on the link below if you wish to click it and discover what it is. And this is a space to explore moving completely free from inhibition in a way that you can express yourself at the fleshly level and delight in sensing pleasure through your senses. That is sensuality. And to deepen into this, today we have a very special guest. This is Vinicius Tavares from Brazil. He's a long-time friend that I am very happy to have here. He's also like a pioneer on somatics in our digital era, organizing groups and also events and many things. So, Vinicius, I am very happy to have you here finally.
Thank you. Thank you. Um,
Tell us how.
you no, I'm just saying for all the people that will watch that we have a previous warm up meeting, but I hope we can recatch that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, because we were saying so many things that I was like, the essentialists need to know this. So first, let's start with the moment that you decided that you like the somatic world. When was it that you were like, oh, there's more to the body?
This is the my God, I loved. Few people in Earth asked him that. And unfortunately, one Aquarian boy blocked me when I was saying that in 10 years ago in another blog. But it's very important for everybody because um, I always was an active boy. I always liked exercise. But our proper culture of embodiment in especially the physical educations, the high performance sports, they they make we always believe that our body have to be in a high level, not in a pleasure level,
Yes.
not in the pleasure level. And I did everything with a lot of effort. In 1997, 26 years ago, I was doing capoeira, circus, gymnastics, acrobatic gymnastics. I was doing a lot.
A lot.
now,
And
now,
very dense.
now now I'm 45. I say, fuck, I was doing a lot of things in my body. I was in a I don't know, in a competition level of effortness. So, but everybody said to me, Vinicius, you are uncoordinated. There is a name of that scientific name, but don't enter in this medical naming. This is only waste of time. What matters is I asked for my gym teacher, my acrobatic gym teacher, Elizabeth Paoli Elio, if she knows something about what we call it body awareness. We didn't know the name somatics in the 90s. Okay, it is historically a term that started in USA in the 70s. In the 80s appeared in Europe, and in Brazil started to appear in the end of the 90s. The year was 1997. So remember, I was 2 years away for Brazilians start to see somatic education as a real thing. And it's thanks to a teacher that spent most of her time in the nights in Europe called Marcia Strazacap. I don't know if you heard about her. She has wonderful readings, I think in French, because she studied in Quebec, in Université Québec à Montréal, which is a very, very important place if you are a scientist and want to do a study about somatics and you want to do a master or doctor degree, go to UCAM and see Sylvie Fortin, the orientator of Marcha Estrada Capa, and you understand what I'm talking about. But the name in Brazil was consciência corporal, or body awareness, which was a thing in my era. Thanks to Edson Claro, a professor in the Universidade Federal of Rio Grande do Norte, was one of the first academics to do that. Thanks to the teacher that teach me body awareness in University State of Campinas, né, Adilson Nascimento de Jesus. I made a class with him in November of 1997. And what was important more than the academic curriculum that I got from this experience was that I didn't know where my stiffness started and where my pleasure in my body could begins. So it was very interesting because doing subtle exercise with my pelvis, with my feet, with my breathing, with my spine, just few things, I start to realize that, oh my God, I wasted my life doing so many effort, so many tension, and I started to take care of myself with more careness.
Yes.
But there is a thing. Yeah. When we start to do that, and I spent 1998, 1999 doing it a lot in my circus class, I left capoeira away because capoeira is very beautiful to see, but it's very tensioned. I saw a lot of my friends having problems in the knees, in the shoulders, and I said, it's not for me yet to go back to that stuff. But I started to think better. I don't know if you know it, but the patriarch of somatic education, François de Sade, he was a singer. Wow. He was losing his voice. Yes, he was losing his voice, and he started to develop a technique, but no more a technique, was an approach of how body is connected with the soul and with the mind. And it influenced Frederick Matthias Alexander. He was student of his brother Gustave Delsart, and also Frederick Matthias Alexander was losing his voice. Yes. So it's a thing that I just discovered that in 2011, 2012, but it's very connected to me because Gerd, we are talking, you know, pre-meeting. Yes, we are talking because one of the things that happens in gastro reflux is you out of nowhere you lose your voice, you cannot talk. I was talking about, I was one day was singing like Freddie Mercury, love of my life, you hurt me. Other times I was singing about like Brian Adams, love of my life. So I didn't know what happened. My teacher, my singing teacher, Suzelle Cabral, that she didn't know what to do to me. She also reinforced me to go and see somatic consciência corporal, body awareness, in that time, because she one class my voice was clean as a whistle, and 2 classes ago I didn't do nothing, I didn't drink, I didn't do nothing, my voice was like that. I don't know, you understand, like Don Corleone. Oh yes, if I do. But it was not good for yes, it's not good if you don't have the control. Suzelle Cabral was in Campinas, the city I live, a very legendary teacher. But she saw a lot of actors in that period, doing voice work, that she was very impressed. But she said, if you don't know how to manage your body, oh, let's see the book.
The book,
Oh,
Conciencia Corporal.
oh, que legal! What a beautiful.
Yeah,
What's the author?
super
Who is the
old
author?
book. Thomas
Who is
Hanna.
that? Oh, he called. Oh, yes, because it's the translation of Body Iron is that he inspired by Feldenkrais.
So
Yes,
it
yes.
started in the
Thomas
same
Hanna.
time there in Brazil that in Mexico, because this is the first book in Mexico about body awareness that was translated as Conciencia Corporal. And now I understand that because Conciencia Corporal in Portuguese, and that's how body awareness was translated
Mm-hmm.
in our languages, and then we are like trying to connect, but this is the origin. Thank you so
The
much,
dots.
Vinicius. You know, like we needed to make this the recording to get to these like roots of of somatic education in our countries. Yeah, it happened simultaneously in the 90s. Yeah,
Yes,
so
but I for
I
if you are a
interrupt.
Brazilian and you are watching it, and I hope you are, uh, uh, just a slight interruption for your talk. And if you were a Brazilian and you were watching this podcast, this Zoom later, remember, um, in the 80s there was a book of Feldenkrais that was translated as Awareness Through the Movement, Consciência pelo Movimento. And that's how the media in Brazil started to see the name. But according to people that write their historians of somatic education, like Marta Eddy, um, especially Marta Eddy. Marta Eddy is a Bible for me. She wrote a lot of things. And Marta O'Donnell in the University of Minnesota, she's more academically known than Marta Eddy. She's not on Instagram or Facebook or other social media. The somatic education term started in the late 50s and beginning of the 60s. So it's an ancient term, but it was just rediscovered during this the period of, what can I say, this postmodern dance, the period of the beginning of the somatic the beginning of the contact improvisations, jam sessions, thanks to Steve Paxton, Nancy Starr Smith, all these people that uh, they start to become famous, no, kind of famous, because they were doing a very crazy dance. What the fuck, people flowing in bodies, one blood. People started to see these dances as more, can I say, dangerous, sexually talking, than other kinds of dance that were connected to sexual stuff, like poly dance, like cancan, and like belly dance, because people were touching crotches, touching the legs, and that's why contact improvisation became news in a horrible way. But because of that, people like Steve, Nance, Liza Nelson, and others, and Nila Little in the 80s, they started to be called to explain, no, it's not about that. It's natural movements. It's a movement connected to gravity, and it is somatic education.
It is
And
somatic.
then the term started to be. I saw some news of the 80s. The term started, and it just came to Brazil. Marcia Strazacapa put this name in the academic realm of Brazil, the academic environment. But another uh, Brazilian dancer called Chica Lemos. She was born in the city I live now,
Yes.
Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, and she studied in NNDO, the New Dance, the Amsterdam New Dance Development Academy, that is now part of Rodart. I think, I don't know
Products.
if it's part of Rodart, but the thing is, they are very famous to do a 3 years degree of dance, and all the semesters you have a semester of contact improvisation. So she came from from Brasilia to Netherlands. So she came to Brasilia again. Brasilia, she came in 1989. She completed the degree. She was very young at that time, and she didn't saw the environment for that. The Brasilia, the dances of the Brazil's capital was very just ballet, uh, ball dance. Not in the 80s, Brasilia didn't have a very, uh, how to say, a bold environment for dancing. For circus, they got for theater, but in music, they got a lot of great musicians in that period, but not for dance. So she went to São Paulo, capital. São Paulo is the biggest city of uh, of Brazil. It's almost the same size or a little bit bigger than Mexico City.
Yeah.
And she created what they call it the Companhia Nova Dança, New Dance Company,
Okay.
which uh, was doing all this stuff of physical theater, postmodern dance, performance, everything they could do, clown. They had spectacles joining clown and contact improvisations. They survived for about 10 years. Then the company folded, they bankrupted, and each one went for
Their
other
way.
place that could pay better for them. Yes, but they had a legacy in Brazil because without them, contact improvisation wouldn't be established in Brazil, and uh, it kind of created another focus of somatic education because people started to see that a lot of Brazilians researchers and performers was doing that research, and we started to become being seen as seriously somehow. And I think I still have a lot of respect for their experience, despite the studios and the Companhia Nova Dança doesn't exist anymore, and it's a very sad news, but part of life.
It was important in the history of the somatic education presence in Brazil.
What? I didn't get that.
This Compañía de Nova Dança was
See
important as as
what?
as a part of the somatic of the establishment of this culture of seeing the body in a different way, not just like bodybuilding or just like high level performance training, but as a fundamental part on creating a life affirming practice for you that is through movement. Tell us about your views on pleasure. If your encounter with somatics, with movement, change your view about pleasure. Because yeah, like I have the feeling that people in Brazil are um more in touch with their body and with their beauty and proud on their physicality than say in Mexico, that we are so beaten up by Catholicism, or the states that have like also like and the northern world in specific in specific, like it's like they are not so expressive in the body. So I am very curious on to know how did your encounter with somatics change?
One thing that I discovered about somatic is really you started to see your body differently. You have to take care about um, um more peacefully with your illness. I told you because yesterday I had a illness that would make me impossible to do this Zoom meeting right now, and I eventually took some allopathic medicine. But that's a thing that I avoid a lot. I avoid in with all my powers. I have patience with my healing, my self healing. That's the thing that I really, really, really think it is a motto for me. It is a internal law. But let's talk about Brazilian culture of body. First, we know Brazil, everybody, if American, if you're American and you're listening that, please listen. Brazil is not only butts, okay? Like American women are not only boobs,
Right,
okay?
right,
But
definitely.
the media show that. Unfortunately, for decades, 4 or 5 decades in Brazil, I think it's more than that. I think 6 decades at least, Brazilians are seeing like butts that talk. That's very sad.
Yeah, what
But
we were talking about, the pleasure becoming a product, or the body becoming objectified, and not only the body but just the body part, like just the butt, just the ass, because pictures of the ass sell more, or boobs
yeah,
sells more cars than I don't know, than a book or whatever. And the thing is, like, come on, like we are flesh, like a human, a person. It's like the its physicality among other other sensitivities, but first and foremost the body. So also, like, thinking the body as something to be objectified and pleasure to be um pro to be turned into a product, puts a wedge in the experience of the self that is ridiculous. Like it's like telling a cat, now you have to think on before you meow, or like, it's like getting in the way of your own self. So yeah, I tell us how is
uh,
the culture.
well, so speaking about Brazilians, then that they are seen of like that, like they are the País das Mulatas, the country of the colored, beautiful women, and the samba carnaval. That the samba. Do you know what samba means in African?
What means,
Samba,
what's the meaning?
women,
Women.
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 Yes, samba. No, it's not samba. It's samba. It's a
Samba.
word in Kimbundo that was used in a African traditional religion called uh, Inquis cult. Inquis are deities from Angola, okay, and women are called samba. So it was a natural thing that women, the black women in that was enslaved, they dance. So they dance with no structure, just for pleasure,
Just
just
for
to have
pleasure.
relation. Yes, yes, a very very innocent. But when the samba from northwest, from the northwest of Brazil, where there is more black people, there was more enslaved descendants, came to Rio de Janeiro, a place that was with people richer. People was the Brazilian capital until 1960. Um, this became explored in a not very good way. I'm sorry to say that. I think, oh, Vinicius, you are saying you're depressed by Brazil. No, I'm just being
It's the
saying a
truth.
thing that
It happens
yes,
what it happened in the rest of the world of using
yes,
the body
they
as
all.
an object, as a product, and then living the whole life trying to get the connection with the body, maybe via the advertising of what you will find in Brazil or whatever. But it's the same problem of disconnection from sensitivity. It's becoming numb to our senses, and it's denying our fleshly being and ultimately our life, because we are only here for so long. So Vinicius, would we're running a little bit up out of time,
Time.
so would you share with us one exercise or movement experience so we can get a sense of these women that just danced in a naive way because of pleasure, these black women that samba, because
Mm-hmm.
you touch to a core aspect of pleasure that is, it's something easy. You don't need a PhD for pleasure. You don't need to even deserve it. Like it's already in you. So like, how to delight in this, especially if you're going through difficulties in life, because it's typical that I am about to go, like, to get a raise at work, so I am like flooded with work and I don't have time for pleasure. Or I am a new mom, so I my baby is first and I don't have pleasure. Or in a most challenging way, I am going through a difficult illness and the whole world is telling me that everything is my illness and there is no space for pleasure. So how can we resist that? How can we not give up on pleasure?
One word I learned from a Russian psychotherapist. I heard, I read, sorry, from another Russian psychotherapist in America called Judith Weaver. I don't know if she's alive. She is about to become 100 years old if she's still alive. And I read in in a semiotics readings books, it is the word pause. Pause. Learn how to pause, because if you have an illness, it's a sign that you need to pause.
Yes.
If you have a lot of work and you are not earning whatever you deserve a pause.
Yes.
If you're working a lot and you see your bank account fulfilled, Jesus Christ, pause.
Pause. Pausa.
Because that you're a biologist, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
know what is interface.
There's
The when the organizing, and when organizing the chromosomes, there is an interface.
yes.
Interface is a pause.
Pause.
When a pause is natural, it's like I don't have a thing, and it's very difficult to be seen here in this horrible camera. But when you throw a thing, when something goes, it's pause and then it's come down.
Yes.
That's the key. That's the secret
I,
of every. Know the moment, because I cannot tell your moment to pause. You cannot tell my moment to pause, but you have to pause down and understand that breathing is more important than everything you do on your life, because without pausing sometimes a day, without breathing deeply sometimes a day, without understanding that the pains that you have in your neck, on the center of your stomach, on or on your back, on your feet. They can tell you things, even if you're not, like you say, a PhD or a physical therapist or a orthopedist. The histories of your pains, the histories of your sufferings and oppressions, they belong to you. And you have the power, if you administrate your pauses, you
Yes.
have the power to not, I don't know, I don't say undo it, but to understand the process you passed through your life to create this space. So no matter, the pleasure is is a thing. I read from 1996 to 2000 a platter of books about pleasure. One of them was from Alexander Lowen. He made a resume of somatic techniques in his books Pleasure, very similar to what Teresa Bertera did and the body has its reasons. But more than organizing all the techniques, there are hundreds, thousands of somatic techniques. You have to stop to have 1 hour, at least half an hour, to say, I will sit down or I will lay down, breath, and let things go. The pleasure will start.
Yes.
We will start. No
Start.
matter the techniques you know. If you know Brazilian samba, if you know dance from Ghana, if you know Bharatanatyam from India, if you know a dance from IT, voodoo IT, no matter. Or if you dance just for have pleasure alone in your room, it the pause you too. It's on you. And I know, especially mothers, because we know that statistically mothers they have worked twice to help the house, to help the babies. I know, I know, I know, but you still have to
Yeah.
find this time to be with yourself.
Yeah. To pause.
Okay.
So much like I feel almost like crying because yes, it's that's the secret, that's the key, to pause, and no one can tell you what or when or how your pause should be. It has to be you, that you say like, this is my pause, and then pleasure will happen naturally, like these women dancing. Vinicius, thank you so much. This has been a very important episode with a very powerful key for pleasure, for health, for life, that is to pause. So tell us, how can we know more about your doings? Are you on social media? How can we find?
um I'm a guy that I do a lot of things, and sometimes some projects are between not doing all of them completely because it's not procrastinate, it's doing a lot of things at the same time. I promised to myself I would open a marketplace in Instagram, but I really tried. My God, and no, no, the configurations of my Facebook, my computer, my cell phone, it I couldn't connect the marketplace in Facebook and in Instagram. I will try it. I promise this year I need to do that, and it is on the page Kiro with K
Yes.
dot market dot br point. But
Hero.
this page is, you cannot you'll not buy nothing here. I really want to sell a lot of things, especially essential oils. I love aromatherapy, but you can't. But in my other page, that I talk more about me, about other people that I really like, and more about my therapist, which is Kiron
Hero.
dot institute. You can talk to me and we can talk more about other stuffs connected to naturopaths, to natural healing, to natural religions and things like that. But still working on my entrepreneur side. But come on,
It's a
faithful.
work on progress as everything, and projects also need their pauses to mature, to digest,
Yeah.
to integrate, and then to go for the next growth. Fantastic, Vinicius.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kanja. Thank you for the invitation. And I always, also follow your work for years of beyond for a decade. I really loved what you do in Mexico. The somatic education need more people trying less to sell and more to explain people the importance of it, the how great, because you're a biologist, we could be working in a very expensive company, blah 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 blah, but you are investing that in there, doing core doing workshops. Oh, I love your work. Keep it on that pace, because the world needs people like you a lot.
Thank you so
Okay,
much. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much, Vinicius. And thank you, Sensualists, for being here. So go to Institute and find everything what Vinicius is sharing there, and like also in Instagram with Kiron, and be on the watch for his new developments. And
Thank
if
you.
you haven't subscribed already to the Sensual Sessions podcast, go to www.centrodepoder.com and get yourself signed up and find a surprise waiting for you there. And see you next time. Until then, remember to sense your fire so you can share the flame.